everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Manbitesfilm, episode 94. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. 6 episodes left.
94, bitches. Sorry, there was a delay there.
Yeah, you were really delayed this week.
Oh, wait, we started recording. Hey, everybody. You told my name yet?
No, we have not said who you are yet.
Right.
As always, I am Branden. Joining me is the regular crew. We got William. I'm going William first this week.
No clue today? Come on.
No clue.
No. Shut up, bitch. It's my time. I have the stage. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
I'm not feeling 100% today. I'm feeling a little under weather. That's why the medication, I wasn't paying attention and realized we were recording already. But it's going to be that kind of show. So we haven't had that kind of show in a while.
You okay, bud? Do you have like the flu? Do you have a cold?
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
I have the Bud Light virus.
You don't have the coronavirus, do you?
No. My thing is all American made, so it's Bud Light virus. I don't want to Mexican shit.
None of that Mexican piss.
We built the wall for a reason.
Shut up. Like, you know deep down you like Corona, the
I
beer.
Hate Corona.
I
like Corona.
Virus.
I like Corona. You sprinkle a little bit of a lime in there. It's actually good.
It's piss.
But it is Mexican piss.
It's piss, but it's good piss.
I like the joke of what goes with coronavirus? Lyme disease.
Damn. By the way, we are not laughing at anybody that is suffering from the coronavirus.
No, we're not. I am sorry.
Definitely not.
If you are, I am truly sorry, and I do hope I do hope that you recover from it, because there is a much higher percentage of recovery than people that have died. But
dude, people are so freaked out by it, and like people fail to realize that like the mortality rate is like less than 1%.
Yeah, but the problem is that it pops up. It's like, for example, yesterday was in the news. It popped up in Italy now, out of fucking nowhere. So now,
because
Italy's under quarantine.
It's a flu. That's it. It's just
a flu.
Yeah,
it's not. People need to calm the hell down.
But it's a flu that can fucking kill you.
No, but the people that are dying are either old. Dude, but William, the people that are dying are old people or children.
High risk. Yeah.
Yeah, high risk targets. Like the other one, like a person like you, Lewis, myself. Yeah, it would be bad, but if we went to a doctor...
Well, William, maybe.
Well, you also...
I'm serious. Remember, the upper respiratory.
I have to remember. Exactly. I'm like...
I thought you were making a fat joke.
No. I had tuberculosis as a baby. I had cancer twice, of which one of them was in my lungs. So, I laugh about it. But I'm definitely probably in the low spectrum of high risk. But I'm looking in on the way out. So...
But honestly, if you guys are feeling sick or anything like that, go to the freaking doctor, go to the hospital, and you'll be fine.
And also,
even if you have it.
Immunize, and also, lastly, and more importantly, immunize your damn kids.
Yes. And the person that is giving you sound medical advice, even though he is not a doctor, is my brother from another mother, Lewis.
Hey, guys.
Hello.
All right. So let's start talking about movies instead of viruses.
Yes, we're going to be doing that. As always, if you are joining us for the 94th time or the first time, we are a weekly movie podcast where we talk about not movie news anymore. I need a
strike off the record.
Yes. We're going to start the...
I kind of missed the movie news a little bit.
Shut your face.
A little bit, but it's okay.
See, good. I'm not the only one. Suck my balls.
No, but change is not bad. We got this, all right? So, listeners, we're going to be...
Hey, Obama.
Shut the
He said the same joke at the same time. That was great.
All right.
Oh, my God.
So, if you're listening...
Amazing.
I'm done. I'm done. This is going to be weird, but we're changing up the format of the show. So, starting from today, we're going to be opening up the show with the movie bucket list. We're going to be doing our main review. Then we're going to be doing the Spiel Binge with our special guest, Zach, of course.
Spiel Binge.
And we're going to be rounding out the show, as always, with our 3 individual reviews. So, William, take it away, bud. What is the movie that these lovely aliens are bringing to us today?
So today I decided to bring a wild card because it's not on the actual list but there are movies that we had spoken that we'll probably never watch. So I'm like, okay, let me go a little bit off the grid.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I am bringing an Academy Award winning movie to the table.
I think you've done that for the past like 3 or 4 weeks.
What?
You I think like for the past 3 or 4 weeks, you always start off by saying that, excuse me, it's an Academy Award winning movie or nominee. One of the two.
That is very true. But I think the fact that it won Academy Awards and it's not on the list, kind of like, I guess like to me, it feels like it legitimizes the pick a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
It definitely it cements the fact that it should be on this list.
Mm-hmm.
Did you just fart? What the hell was that?
That was a spring.
Lewis, was that you?
No, that was not me.
Oh, dude, but did it sound like a wet fart to you?
It did. Let's move on. Well, William, what's the movie this week?
You know, I was gonna go with Moulin Rouge. Now I'm gonna throw a curveball, and it's still winning movie.
Yep. No.
It's with Marisa Tomei. Stars Marisa Tomei, Ralph Macchio, Joe Pesci. And there's a whole bunch of other movies. So and it's what literally started my descent into addiction to grits.
Fuck grits. My cousin fucking
Vinny. Yes.
Youth?
1992. And one of the most, I would say it was a controversial win by Marisa Tomei for Best Actress.
I'm gonna be that guy. Have we not reviewed this movie?
I have, yeah.
That's what it was. Because we talked about this movie.
No, not a bucket list. I reviewed it individually.
Yes, that's what it was. Okay, I was like, did like by accident William pick another movie that we've done?
No. We talked about it as a review, but not as.
Okay. Okay, gotcha.
No, the only nomination for this movie, which ended up was Marisa Tomei's in Best Supporting Actress, which I think that if she got nominated and won, Joe Pesci should have at least been nominated for this, because this was just like, it was great. It was just it was something out of the ordinary.
I watch this movie every few years. This is something that it is the quintessential a comedy movie that you must watch with everybody. If somebody hasn't seen this, what the fuck are you doing?
I've never seen it.
Wow.
What?
I'm actually not surprised about that.
Seen it.
Yeah.
What?
Really? Why?
I don't think that I think it'd be a movie that, like, if you were at the video store, you'd pick up, you'd look at it, and just be like, probably not something that I would enjoy, and you'd put it back down. Because you wouldn't realize how good and how funny it is, especially if you had like no back history to or no knowledge of it. But I don't think it'd be a movie that you would pick up until you watch it, and then you're like, I cannot believe I didn't watch this movie earlier.
Is this streaming on anything?
It's on Stars.
Oh, well.
I've always liked Jonathan Lynn, which is the director of this. He did Clue. And when I was doing
Clue's a great movie.
Exactly. So when I watched Clue back in like freaking late 90s or whatever the hell, I watched this right after and I was like, yes, this is fucking amazing. And then Sergeant Bilko, which sucked, but whatever.
This is a comedy?
Yeah, it's definitely a comedy. The prosecutor is played by the guy that was the coach for the Mighty Ducks. He was the coach for the Hawks in the Mighty Ducks. Fred Gwynne.
Yeah. Oh, the asshole.
Sorry,
dude?
Lane Smith. Fred Gwynne was the judge.
Is that the asshole?
It's not worth winning unless you can't win big.
Yeah.
And then the judge is Herman Munster.
Yes.
Yo, Herman Munster?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
It's fucking glorious. And he does such a great job in this. But it's basically these New York guys that come down to the South and get in trouble, and they end up having to go to court, and he calls on my cousin Vinny and brings them down. So it's completely fish out of the water story. And oh my God, it's so much fun. This is another banger of a film right there.
This is a classic of a film.
I love how Banger has become such a staple of our show.
Basically, if
that
you don't know the storyline real quick, it's like Ralph Macchio and Mitchell Whitfield, Billy and Stan, respectively. They are deciding to drive to their college. They got accepted to a college down south. They decide to drive down there. They stop by this little rinky-dink convenience store. One of them accidentally shoplifts. Like, he doesn't have any free hands. He puts a can of tuna in his pocket. They pay for everything else and walk out. And then a few miles down the road, they get pulled over by a cop, and they think that it's because they shoplifted, until they realize they're getting booked for murder and accessory to murder, because the shoplifter was murdered. It is not a spoiler alert that they did not do it, because you know they did not do it. So then he calls on his cousin, who wasn't exactly the best lawyer, because usually when you take the bar, you want to pass the bar between the first and second time you take the bar at most. And one of the things it goes 16 times was a charm. It took 6 times to pass the bar. Marissa May's girlfriend, it's Joe Pesci's girlfriend, that goes along, and she's just talking about wanting to get married and have kids, and her biological clock that's ticking, which is another great scene. You have to watch it.
Clock that.
Huh?
All right, I'll check it out.
You gotta find a way to rent it, find it.
I have it on my Voodoo account.
There you go.
I have it on my Voodoo account.
Go watch it.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I guarantee you, you're gonna want to review this yourself again. You'll be like, "Oh my God, what have I been missing?" I believe that this is such a classic that it needs to be in a bucket list, and I'll say that it'll go to probably 90 to 100. It's not I must see cinematic changing, the game kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't change the game. It is one of the best comedies done today. But I'm talking about there isn't any we're talking about before, the Vertigo effect, right? There's no cinematic changing that people are like, oh my God, how did they film this scene? And it became a staple at cinema in filming that, people are like, we have to do the My Cousin Vinny scene, or my the Vinny shot. There's nothing like that. But it is so good. And it's okay, maybe 90 to 100. Huh?
I think it did. I could argue that point, because before this film, there wasn't many courtroom processionals type of movies, and this really put it on the map using a courtroom as a comedy scene. Before that, it's only been used in dramatic roles and very, very slow paced, really boring movies most of the time. And this changed the tone, and it actually gave a courtroom a comedy aspect of it, and that changed comedy for a while, because how many movies have been influenced by this or use a courtroom for comedy effect and do very similar scenes to My Cousin Vinny? I can't remember any other film that's done this. This for me is a 9.5 out of 10, and this I would put it in the 50s for the top 100 easily.
Yeah, I give it a good 9.5 out of 10 as well. There's really nothing bad about this movie. It is fucking great.
And there's no meat. There's no excess fat on this. This movie is 2 hours long, there's not a second.
And what makes it even funnier is that before it even became a punchline, this entire movie takes place in fucking Bama, which is fucking great, because you see how back-ass woods some of these people are. And it's funny because this came out. Hold on, quick math. April, May, June, July, August, September, October,
92.
November, December. 9 months before A Few Good Men came out, which is another one of like another great courtroom movie, but obviously very drama, very, there's no comedy in there. Yeah, the famous You Can't Handle the Truth. Both these movies came out the same year, 9 months apart, which is great. But if you haven't seen it, this is one of the movies I most highly recommend when it comes to comedy. And this is a movie that when I first saw it, to tell you how good this movie is, I first saw it right after we moved to the States in 93. So English wasn't exactly my strong suit, okay? And some jokes, there are a few jokes here and there that I didn't get till later on in life, and I learned more English. But even for somebody that is not proficient in English, this movie is still funny. So, you know what I mean? Like, if you can enjoy it when you barely speak the language, trust me, if the language-wise and jokes and punchlines, they're there for everybody to enjoy. Now I want grits, damn
it. And I think it's Joe Pesci, probably one of Joe Pesci's top 3 movies of all time. Like, this is him at his peak. It is him doing a stellar performance and really stretching his legs, honestly. I think that this is a little bit different than what he's done in the past. I think the closest thing that it's similar to is Home Alone. But even then, it does a twist to it. And Marissa Tomei definitely deserves the Oscar that she won for this. I think
awesome.
She's phenomenal.
Awesome. So you both agree it should be on the... William said in the 90 to 100 range, and you said 50s, right?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, guys. So I'll definitely be catching my cousin Vinny, I don't know why the hell I said that. Catching my cousin Vinny on Lewis's Voodoo account because it's not streaming on anything except Stars, and I don't have that at all. Doesn't matter, though. So, as always, stay tuned after this quick break when we come at you live with the main segment of our show, the main review. All right, guys, welcome back for the main segment of our show, the main review, chosen by the peeps. Lewis is one of Lewis's picks.
Yes.
Conspiracy.
Fucking conspiracy. Cut you off on that one.
So Conspiracy is the fictionalized meeting. I know it really happened, but the fictionalized meeting of how many people? How many Nazi officials?
I think it was 15.
15 of them?
Yeah, it's the Wannsee Conference.
Yeah, and basically they were in this conference. They were talking about their plans for what they were going to be doing to the Jews during World War II.
The final solution to the Jewish question.
Yeah, which I didn't know that there were, before watching this movie, I thought that concentration camps were already a thing.
They were, but it wasn't, there were work camps.
And
they weren't transition camps. So that's the fascinating part is that
they weren't death camps, basically.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
The extermination part started after this conference, technically in full swing. It had been started already before, like they allude to in this film. But I love this film because it shows you kind of that there was not contesting of it, but more like people were showing concern.
I'm not saying that the Nazis were good people, because they definitely weren't, but you could see watching this movie that some of them were like, should we really be doing this?
Yeah.
Is this right?
Yeah, and I mean, their humanity bleeds through finally, which is glorious. Yeah. But also it shows you like that what they're trying to do, and it actually it touches on something which I think people don't seem to understand, or it's not part of a history lesson in school, is that the Nazis were trying to push the Jewish communities out of Germany first. It didn't just go from the Jewish ghettos to instant killing. It was like, all right, let's try to push these people and deport them basically out of the German areas that they're conquering and hope that other countries take them. But you have to understand, every country in the world said, I don't want the Jews here.
So, I wonder why that was.
It's just, it's just the racism that they had. I mean, even what's his name? Winston Churchill. After the war, if you didn't know this, when they were trying to figure out where the Jewish community was going to go, the Jews didn't want to go to any particular country.
Okay.
And what they said was, no, we want a country that's ours. 100% ours. And they said, well, we can't put you anywhere because no other country wants to take you in. And you don't want to go with any other country. So Winston Churchill was known that he was racist towards Jewish. He was xenophobic.
Okay. Is xenophobic a term towards what?
William, what's the proper term? Do you know?
William?
No? Okay.
Anti-Semitic.
He was very anti-Semitic. Thank you.
Yeah, xenophobic I think is you don't like white people.
You're right.
Yeah.
Anti-Semitic 100%. And he's like, all right, you know what? I'm going to put you in the middle of the goddamn Arab nations, and you're going to be killed in a couple years. But what he didn't expect
just so that you guys know, side note, the more you know, xenophobic is having or showing a dislike of or prejudice against people from other countries.
Okay, my bad.
Oh, so it's not only white people.
It's not the color of the skin. So it's just like if you're from a different country.
Yeah. So there you go. Thank you.
Okay,
appreciate it. But yeah, the world was anti-Semitic, and the Germans just put it on blast, and they said we are anti-Semitic 100%, and we're telling you we are. But everybody in the world was doing the same thing, just not putting people in concentration camps.
Going back to the movie, which I don't mind that we went on a little tangent. That's cool. The history facts. The more you know.
Yeah.
Cue the rainbow. Not the rainbow, the star. Sorry. The movie is slow. Like nothing happens.
You think it's slow? I thought it was super fast paced, dude. Like, even the fact that it was one room and is just all talking. I felt like this movie flew by.
I wouldn't say it flew. I wasn't slow. That's definitely not. For sure, it's not slow. But I think if, like, specific people watch this, it might not resonate with them. It might just fly over their head and they'll be like, oh, this is slow paced. It's, the entire movie takes place in a meeting room. And it's literally only 15 people talking throughout the duration of this hour and a half movie,
For the record, the fucking cast in this movie, though.
Yes.
Like, granted, this was like 10 years ago, almost? 9 years ago?
No, more than that. 2019. 2001.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, 19 years ago.
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, so 19 years ago. The cast is amazing because like some of these may like at the time like Hiddleston.
Yeah,
I didn't know Hiddleston was in this pic, and I don't know if it's me. I don't know if it was the blonde hair. I don't know, but Hiddleston looks older in this movie than he does as Loki in the past. I'm just saying. Colin Firth hasn't really aged. He doesn't look like he was like 19. He looks the same now. He looks a little bit older now than he did back then. But not like 20 years difference. I've realized that I keep getting Mark Strong and Stanley Tucci mixed up all the time.
My whole thing was
they look the same.
Seeing Stanley Tucci with hair was really weird.
It really was.
Yeah, like really was. He shows up in the movie and I'm like, whoa, Stanley Tucci with hair? This is odd. But okay, I'll go with it.
Right. Also, dude, the most awesome little tribute, which I think it was stunt casting, honestly, was Ian McNeice. He's actually the big, really, really chubby dude.
Yes. Okay.
And he was actually Baron Harkonnen in the Dune series
from the 80s.
Yes.
Yeah. Really?
Yeah. And dude, I was like, dude, that is stunt casting if I ever saw it, because this guy like is the epitome of Baron Harkonnen. Like, that is him. And I thought that was fascinating as hell. But I think William is completely right. This is 100% all-star cast, and that delivers the performance and moves the story quick for me. William, what'd you think of it?
I thoroughly. I mean, I knew I was gonna like it. I like these kind of like epic pieces.
Yeah.
I don't know if part of it felt like it was moving. Part of it felt like it was okay. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it because it showed that not every German was on board with the final solution. I enjoyed it because there's subtle but good symbolism too. Like, for example, the first person that's really against this is the only person that, if you were to color picture with all everybody there, is the only one that's really wearing colors. And even the color that he's wearing is not a bright color, but it's a definite blue in a room of black and gray suits.
Wait, who's wearing blue?
I did also like the doctor, one of the doctors.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Like against it from the very. And
yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Wait, are you saying what I think you're saying, that we would have killed him? It's kind of like showing that he's, there's some moral fiber there. There's some moral integrity. And he stands out from everybody else in the room, first and foremost. The other thing is that they sit at a table, and it could have been, this could be coincidence, and I could definitely be speculating about this. But the fact that, although, if you go back to King Arthur, and it was King Arthur and the round table, because he sat around the table, it meant there was no head of the table. There was nobody that, everybody was equal. Even though the table that they're sitting at is, in fact, a round table, it is not a round table because it's oval. And it shows that there's differences. It shows that, there could be a top of the table, and that not everybody is equal at this table. And lastly, that even the Germans that, as they go around the table and they say who they are and what their position is, these are very high-ranking officials in Nazi Germany in this era. And even some of them, one of them being Hiddleston's character, were not aware that these concentration camps were happening. Like, his line that he goes there's oh yeah, where do you got 3 of them built? And he goes, right under our noses. Shows that he had absolutely no idea that this thing was a thing that was happening. And it shows how, to some degree, distrustful the Fuhrer was, to where he allowed for this to happen under his own generals and his own doctors' noses. But
I think it was also, it showed the bureaucracy behind it. I mean, one of the funniest characters is the guy that keeps introducing himself as the what do you call it? What was it? The secretary of the 4-year plan.
Yeah, the 4-year plan. And the guy's like, I'm the secretary of the 1,000-year Reich. And it's like, wow, the pissing contest.
But he's just hilarious the way that he walks around and says, yes, the 4-year plan. And then in the middle of the meeting, the guy goes, who the fuck cares about the 4-year plan? Fucking love that line. It's just, I laugh so hard because it's like, dude, they really go at each other. And it's funny how much of a pissing contest, like William said, they do against each other.
It's not only that, it's like as you're watching the movie, you see the ones that have humanity and the ones that don't.
Yeah.
The ones like, what's his name? Kenneth Branagh, right?
Yeah.
The leader, basically, the one that's giving the meeting, he has like no shred of humanity in him.
and Kopfler. The one that I told you is he's also Churchill in Doctor Who. He's the Baron Harkonnen. That guy, like, he has no heart. And if it wasn't for him, I don't think half of the things would have been agreed upon, because he is a spy for the regime. And it's like, you could see the hesitation in certain moments where they're like, ooh, fuck. If I don't tap the table, I am going to be looked after. I am going to be hunted down.
Yeah, I'm going to be shot or fucking God knows what.
But you feel it. You feel
what I did enjoy also from a Harry Potter fan.
Oh, that he plays, what's his name?
Yeah. He plays Gilderoy Lockhart in Harry Potter.
Yes, in the Chamber of Secrets. Yeah.
In the Chamber of Secrets, I thought was just, like, great. And obviously this is, like, at least 10 years before he was cast in that role. But it's
not. That's like a year.
No, it's a year before.
Oh my god, was it that long ago?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. But it's really interesting to see, like, the ones that are like, is this like a good idea? Like, should we really be killing these people? Let's just let's just make them sterile. And then some of them are like, nah, let's just kill them. It's like.
And dude, like, just the way that this guy actually manipulates the different people in the group, both Stanley Tucci and Reichardt,
Kenneth Branagh,
Hidrick, yeah, the way that both of them kind of manipulate the whole audience.
Who do you think is worse, Kenneth Branagh or Stanley Tucci's character?
Colin is worse.
Colin Firth. No, which one do you think is worse out of the two?
Oh, Firth, not worse.
Stanley Tucci's character or Kenneth Branagh's character?
I would say Tucci, because at least he's mentioned that Tucci is actually the one that created the plan initially. And he's the one that said, let's do this. And we could start doing the steps. And he even admits to saying that he actually has already put in the gas chambers. And that's why he tells the guy, like, don't type this up. You know?
Yeah. Also, you know what's ironically the scene where I thought that Stanley Tucci was just the worst person in that movie was when he puts the record in, and Kenneth Branagh was talking about that record, saying that it's like beautiful, that it rips your heart out or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he's like, what does he say? He's like, this is a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And he just like walks away. He's like, this is shit.
Well, you get it from the very first moment. The moment that somebody drops something and he just says, I don't want to see that man all afternoon. That scene, it's so.
Oh yeah, the guy that drops the dishes.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah. Or when the guys are getting into a snowball fight and he's like, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. He's not a good person, man. But it was an interesting movie. It's slow.
I didn't think it was slow at all.
It's not okay. I didn't find it slow either. Like, it was a bit slow. It wasn't like terribly slow. But if you compare it to like your typical movie, like not a lot happens. Like, the entire movie takes place literally in one room. So if you want like variety and stuff like that, you're not going to
get like Cat on the Hot Tin Roof.
Yeah.
So this writer, he's actually the screenwriter for Dog Day Afternoon and A Star Is Born.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Cool Hand Luke also. What other classic?
Excuse me, what did you just call me?
Cool Hand Luke. The movie? You've never seen that movie?
No, but it was just weird. No, and it's such a weird title. I've never seen that movie. No.
What?
No, it's a weird title too. Can you say it again?
What we have here is failure to communicate. Oh, dude, that fucking line is glorious.
What is that? What is the name of the movie?
Cool Hand Luke.
Oh, Cool Hand Luke. Okay.
Jesus, I can't believe you've never seen that movie. The movie's glorious. It's a classic.
Nope, never seen this.
William, have you?
I believe I have. Hold on, I gotta see who's in it.
It is
Paul Newman.
Paul Newman.
And George Kennedy. It's an all-star cast, dude.
I may have watched it. Yeah, I may have watched it back in the day because my mom is a big Paul Newman fan. So I feel like I've seen it. I may not have seen it in English,
Yeah,
but
probably
I
not.
want to say I've seen it.
Yeah, probably. Okay. It was probably one of those original movies that you saw like on repeat a million times.
All right,
but yeah, definitely, I would give this probably I would say a 7.5, 8
for Conspiracy.
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you guys think?
William, what do you give Conspiracy?
I give it a good 8.5 out of 10.
Okay.
It's enjoyable from a historian point of view, and to see, like I said, like the main focal point of the movie is the fact that it shows that not every, people think like, oh, Nazi Germany, if you weren't Jewish, you were part of it. And it shows that no, that some people, even though they were a high ranking within the Nazi organization, were not okay with the final solution. We're not okay with the killing of 6 million more people, 10 million people, because 6 million were just Jews.
Mm-hmm.
It shows how much of, like you said, like
repeat that.
How
you cut that.
Little, if any, of a soul. Sorry, if any, or if how little or how if any of a soul, Eichmann had with like this, like, oh, let's kill them all, and it was actually not till the very end where I made the connection where the movie that came out last year or the year before called Operation Finale ties in, because it's how Eichmann then ran off to Argentina, and then he got brought to Israel for crime against humanity. He ended up getting killed for it. I think it would have been really cool if they would have been able to get Tucci to play Eichmann in Operation Finale, because I think it would have been like a really good connection to this movie as well, especially how well he depicted him. Not that Kingsley didn't do a good job, but even Kingsley shows how much of a dick this, till the very end, this Eichmann was. But overall, it was enjoyable to be a movie where, like you said, Branden, they sat around and talked for the most part.
Literally,
it was interesting. And movies like this, I don't necessarily enjoy because, like, I'm like, I need to change the scenery, like, do something. But I sat right through it. I enjoyed it till the very end. So, yeah. It was only sad to see that most of them, even though they got arrested after the war, a lot of them were let go because there wasn't enough evidence.
Dude, that shit pissed me off. I was like, bro, are you kidding me? There was like one or two of them that actually got killed, like executed for their crimes. Like the rest were like, no, they got set free. I'm like, what?
Yep.
It's incredible, but
it's sad. But true.
It is sad. It is very sad. Well, they're probably, well, no, for sure they're all dead because they'd be very old.
Oh yeah, now
they'd be over 100 years old at this point. I give it an 8.
Sweet.
It was interesting. I liked it. It was an interesting concept. It was something that I'd never heard of. I didn't know what these what was it called again? Operation, what was it? Mana, it starts with an M.
The what?
No, the like the thing that they're doing, the meeting, it's called something with an M.
It's the Weinman. God damn it, I forgot the name of it.
Okay, that thing. I didn't know that was a thing, and I didn't know that.
That thing
Wannsee conference.
The Wannsee conference. Thank you. Yes. I didn't know that was a thing, and also I didn't know that. I didn't know that concentration camps weren't killing people until after, that late into the war, because this is like 30 years already into the war. It's not like it was right at the beginning. No, all-star cast, everyone does an incredible job. What was that?
It was 4 years into the war already.
Yeah, 4 years, yeah. And, my only thing is, like, again, the movie only takes place in a room, which is like a double-edged sword to me. It's interesting that they can keep you invested, even though you've only been in one room and there's no music in the movie except at the end.
Exactly. It's so high concept, but it keeps you intrigued.
Yes.
And that's rare.
But for some people, being in one room, I could see why that would be not appealing to some moviegoers. But definitely cool concept, and it is sad to see, like William was saying, that a lot of them got arrested, but were let go because they didn't have enough evidence to convict them of crimes against humanity and all that stuff. So,
yep.
But
sweet,
really, really interesting. Streaming on Amazon, so it definitely gets the seal of approval from the Manbitesfilm gang.
Yes, all of us.
Awesome. All right, guys, stay tuned after this quick break when we come at you with
I will say this. Hold on, real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Because I always give him a lot of shit, and like I said, I give credit where credit is due. Very good choice, Louis. I'm very happy with the choice that you made, and I'm happy that this movie won between the other ones. But like I said, I give you a lot of shit for the movies some of the movies that you make us watch. But this was actually a very big thank you for picking it, because it was very well done.
I think you would have liked Dr. Moreau too. I really thought that you would like Dr. Moreau.
Okay. Awesome.
I think between the two, this is the one I would have enjoyed better.
Okay. All right, so stay tuned after a quick break when we come at you with our very new segment, Spiel Binge. All right, guys, welcome back from the break. Now we're going to be coming at you with our new segment. Joining us, as always, is our lovely guest, Zach.
It's me, Zach.
Hey.
Yes, it is.
If you guys have been listening, he's brought to our show a new segment called Spiel Binge, where he's basically reviewing the entire Spielberg catalog, one movie every episode. So, Zach, which movie are you bringing for us today, man?
Spiel Binge.
Yeah.
Spiel Binge. Spiel Binge. Spiel Binge. Spiel Binge. Spiel Binge. It's Jaws. I watched Jaws.
Yay! This is my favorite movie of all time.
Superman.
Shut up.
That's John Williams, not Spielberg. John Williams.
Yeah.
But I know, genius. I was being funny and facetious.
This week, I watched one of my favorite films. I watched Jaws, his second straight theatrical release. Third, if you count Duel being released after the fact. It changed the game.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yes. I absolutely adore Jaws. I think correct me if I'm wrong, Louis, I think I've reviewed this movie on the show before, right?
We were actually talking about that off the air. And apparently we haven't talked about it on the podcast version of the show at all.
Really?
At all. So I'm guessing it was on the YouTube show that we did it.
I find that hard to believe, man. I think I've talked about this on the show. Maybe.
We didn't.
Okay.
I'm thinking it's on the YouTube show that we did it.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. But yeah, I'm the reason I bring that up is because I'm very surprised because for the longest time it was streaming on Netflix. I don't know if it's still there.
It is not streaming on Netflix, actually.
It is not. Okay. Well, it was for a bit, and I remember watching it. And man, that's a movie that literally could come on the TV. It could be anywhere in the movie, and I'll sit down and watch it.
Yep.
I agree 100%. Because no matter what scene that you fall on, it is a fucking glorious movie from beginning to end.
The only thing I will say to that is it did feel a little weird watching it in the middle of winter for me because I so associate this movie with summertime.
Well, it's the first summer blockbuster that ever happened.
Exactly.
This was the initial, this is the quintessential summer blockbuster.
So that's really interesting because I felt there was so much in it. Obviously, it has such a Hitchcock influence and stuff like that, but I feel the influence that it itself had on so many subsequent styles of movie, be it blockbuster or slasher or whatever. Like, that prologue pretty much sets the stage for the teen slashers of the late 70s, early 80s, where, like, the young couple, if you weren't naked and partying, you wouldn't have died.
If you weren't promiscuous, you'd be alive, basically.
Exactly.
Which is the quintessential 80s horror theme.
Yeah.
Right,
exactly.
and this kind of set the stage for people to replicate that and warp that into the cabin in the woods kind of mindset that the youth must be punished. And or
must be punished.
I would argue the origin of like the modern jump scare when Richard Dreyfuss is down in the water.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that mostly for like creature.
Oh, like features. when he's trying to when Jaws actually hits like the shark cage or whatever, that part.
No, I'm talking. I don't want to ruin it. He's looking he finds the one shark tooth when he first goes down the cage.
Yes, I totally forgot. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that definitely sets the stage for it. I mean, obviously, you could make a case for it, like, again,
Did
Psycho.
you just say you're trying not to ruin a movie that came out 40-something years ago? We have like a 6-week rule. You have like a 50-year rule, which is very commendable, and I'll give you that. But when you were I don't want to spoil it, guess what? There's a fucking shark.
Honest.
Well, barely there's a shark.
That's true.
Which, honestly, can you imagine if they didn't have troubles with the animatronic, how different that movie would have been?
Dude, I just find it hilarious seeing like the behind the scenes of this film, and the first time that they actually put it in the ocean, the thing literally sank to the bottom. And
the behind the scenes on this movie is wild.
It really is.
It is fascinating that this movie got completed, let alone turned into a masterpiece.
Yeah.
Spielberg, again, still start of his career, start of the game, dealing with all of this, shooting the movie on the water, the malfunctioning animatronics, the
Bruce
actors hating each other.
Wait, what actors hated each other?
Oh, so Richard Dreyfuss and who plays Quint?
Oh, the old man.
The sailor.
I don't remember.
They legitimately despised each other to the point that like their scenes were
Robert Shaw.
Like the contentious nature that they have was legitimate.
Oh shit! Okay. Oh, that's really cool. Okay.
And he was also famously suffered with alcoholism and
constantly drunk. Yes.
With the monologue that he gives about the USS Indianapolis, he tried delivering that in the middle of the night, crazy drunk, and ruined take after take after take, and then came back the next day and was like, "I'm going to be sober now. Let's do it." So, like, even that was another trouble that that's actually 26-year-old Spielberg had to deal with. Like,
that's actually one of my favorite scenes in the movie.
Yeah.
That and when they sing together, like after the story, it's awesome.
The Quint trio.
Yeah, it's it's funny. So my mom, she would tell me stories. My mom was this movie came out in 76, right? 75. So my mom was 10 when it came out.
Jesus.
She take this as a grain of salt because she was a kid. She might be exaggerating. But she said that she made my grandfather take her 10 times to the movie theaters.
Well, that's how you know when you're in it. You're in it.
And she told me, she was like, I loved it, but I was also utterly terrified of the movie.
But that's the best part. This, especially living so close to the ocean like we do in Florida, like this is one of those movies that get to us because this could happen. How many times did we go on Miami Beach or Fort Lauderdale or any of these places and see the same exact setting that you see in this movie right before the attacks start?
And that's that same kind of quiet paranoia that he tapped into with Duel, of like that you're alone on the road, what is that like kind of paranoia. He applies now here to the water. This is definitely a spiritual successor to that. It was really interesting seeing him up those themes.
And I love the fact that Spielberg actually uses those. Every single shot is so perfectly measured and calculated to get you into the psyche of these characters from the beginning to the end. It's fucking glorious.
Going back, like, to my question, do you think this movie would have been as good if he showed the animatronic earlier in the movie, like the shark?
Nah, I think the accidental genius that they stumbled into there. That's
I agree.
That's better than any first plan.
I don't know.
There's a sense of mysticism to the shark for like 3/4 of the movie.
Well, that's another thing that's really interesting to me, and has always fascinated me about the structure of this movie, is that it's very clearly in 2 acts.
Yes.
It's this first pretty much feature-length movie about the small town being troubled with it, and then a follow-up story of the 3 men on the boat going after it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's basically a movie with its own sequel attached to it, which is fascinating and even funnier when you consider the franchise that it spawned, for better or for worse.
Hey man, you want to see shitty Jaws? Watch Jaws 3D.
Hey, I like Jaws 3D.
Jaws 3D. Jaws the Revenge is the one that...
No, but like, dude, Jaws 3D with this really shitty... you know how in the 80s they had that craze with 3D and all that stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man, it does not hold up. But like, at least 3D nowadays is fine. But like, 3D in the 80s was not good.
Hey, Friday the 13th 3D. That one, that's a masterpiece.
Oh my god.
With the yo-yo coming right at you.
Yeah. Friday the 13th. Yeah, that's Jason Voorhees, right?
Yep.
And man,
dude,
I don't know.
Piranha 3D was glorious.
Piranha 3D, yep.
That was the best.
You know,
I actually just watched whatchamacallit, Final Destination 3D.
Okay.
Which actually was like the Final Destination, but it was like in 3D.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about it later.
You know, it's so to honor Zach's wishes of not spoiling this movie. My all-time favorite scene is, I won't say when it's in the movie, but when Brody says to Richard Dreyfuss, I used to be afraid of the water. Dreyfuss, sorry. Dreyfuss. Close enough.
No, not at all.
Weird guy.
Yeah. When he tells him, I used to be afraid of the water, and he's like, what does he say?
It's something like, I can't imagine why.
Yeah, I can't imagine why. I always like that scene for some odd reason.
It's...
I don't know how to explain it. It's so calm and just like...
Yes. It is a calm after a storm. It's not...
Exactly.
It's not an anticlimax, because it's very interesting, because this is the same type of way that Sugarland Express and Duel all ended, where the action happens, and then instead of seeing a traditional fallout, it just kind of like quietly fades out. Like, it's real mellow in the way that it presents an ending. It's like, okay.
Yeah. I absolutely love Jaws. It's my favorite movie of all time. I could watch it over and over. I've seen it God knows how many times in my life. And I think, honestly, because of that movie, I have a fear of the ocean. To a certain extent. I'm not, like, terrified of going into the ocean.
Dude, I think
that movie's always humming in the back of your head.
Yeah, exactly. So, for instance, I'll give you an example. When I was, like, a teenager, I went... my family and I, we used to go to, like, this... the same hotel in Fort Lauderdale just for, like, a week, and we would, like... That was, like, our getaway, right? And
Lauderdale by the sea.
Exactly. Thank you, Lewis.
Still better than Daytona Beach.
And I met that year. I met a group of kids, and they were like, "Hey, let's swim out to the buoy," and I had never done that. And I was like, "Sure." And we started swimming, and I remember just looking down, and then there, at a certain point, I couldn't see the floor anymore, and that's where I was like, "Nope, I don't like this anymore, dude. Get me back to land right now." And then Jaws starts coming into the back of your head, and like. You feel like I'm not the top dog in here. Like, this is something else's domain, and I'm like, nah, man, get me back on land. I don't like this anymore.
This is someone else's domain. Yes.
Basically, you're not the top of the food chain anymore.
Yeah, that's very true. I think one of the best experiences though that I had watching this movie was when they used to do a presentation in Fort Lauderdale. Actually, they would actually put it on these rafts. And you would watch the movie in the ocean.
Yeah, like in an inner tube.
Yeah, on an inner tube.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to go to that. They do it every summer, right?
It was glorious.
Like
but like, God, it was awesome.
William, it's like a lake. It's like a pond or a lake. It's not like anything is going to...
intercoastal. It's the intercoastal.
Is it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, nothing is going to happen to you, ironically. Imagine something does happen.
It's the intercoastal, so it was like between the two islands that connects to the ocean. So technically you're in the ocean because it connects to the ocean 100%, but it's not really like open ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Jaws 3D was an open ocean either, and look what happened.
Jaws 3D was supposedly in, what was it, SeaWorld?
Was it?
It wasn't SeaWorld because they didn't have the copyrights for it, but it was like SeaWorld-esque.
Yeah, it's very much like this is Orlando, Florida, and or wherever the fuck SeaWorld is. I think it's in Orlando. I'm not even sure.
Well, one of them is, yes. There's multiple ones.
Oh, I didn't even know there was multiple ones there. The more you know.
Oh yeah, the more you know. What I do like. What's funny is that fucking SpongeBob has like completely ruined that for me.
Yeah, with the
rainbow. Because I'm like, I used to think of the star, and now it's SpongeBob, and I'm like, that's great. Well, speaking of the Quint trio that we were talking about before, I do like that if you go to Universal Studios Florida and you go to the Harry Potter section of the of the attraction, because Harry Potter is built on hallowed ground of what used to be Jaws.
Yes.
They decided to leave a few nods to the former ride.
Oh, cool.
One of them is actually right by the telephone booth, and it's a fake album cover. But the name of the group and the name of the title of the album, the group is the Quint Trio. And the name of the album is Here's to Bow-Legged Women.
Nice.
Which I thought was actually a really nice nod. And the other one, huh?
No, I was just going to say, I was very sad when they took that ride out. I really liked that ride.
I liked a lot of the rides that Universal took out.
Yeah, but whatever. So, sorry, go on, William.
Oh no! It's like and then like another nod that they do. There's a couple of other nods. One of them is in Nocturne Alley, where they have the jaws, no pun intended, but they have the actual jaws of a shark that was displayed in the queue for the ride as well, which now got moved into Nocturne Alley. And in one of the stores, if you look up, there's like planets and what's supposed to be like stars and whatnot, and everything that's built up there is using the old school railing that Jaws was used to ride on.
Okay.
So those are like the three little. Oh, sorry. There's one more. The Talking Heads. The Talking Heads. They'll talk like randomly. Obviously, it's all predetermined and whatnot. But one of their tracks is actually the Bow-Legged Women song that they sing.
The Show Me the Way to Go Home.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. And you have to pay attention to it a little bit.
I have heard that before.
Fun. Have you guys ever noticed in that scene you can see a shooting star?
Yes. Which,
really?
So that was legit. And I have read that is a quiet trademark that Spielberg has subsequently included in as many movies as he could.
Oh, I didn't
That's
know
like
that.
a very soft trademark of his. A shooting star.
In the scene when they sing Bow-Legged Women, the camera pans out to like a shot of the boat on the water, and in the back you see a shooting star.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
I was not aware.
Yeah. I think it's in that scene, right? When they sing Bow-Legged Women. It's definitely around that.
It's the night after, the first attack of the shark on the boat.
Yeah. It's definitely like around the time where he says the USS story, like the one of World War II, or when they sing Bow-Legged Women, like one of those two scenes. Yeah, you see like a shooting star. I've always found it really cool. Like you could it's super noticeable too. Like it's not like you have to look for it. Like you will definitely see it if you pay attention.
Yeah, I agree. It is an awesome shot, by the way, too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's beautiful.
And I was actually reading up on this. Jaws is actually considered one of the best horror movies of all time. And
it is a horror movie.
It is. It really is. It's the quintessential horror movie, which is that
quintessential.
quintessential.
Hey,
quintessential. All
I'll see myself
guys, we're done. This is the end of our show.
I mean, I was fighting the urge before when Branden asked, do you think there would have been a difference if the shark would have worked in how the movie came out? Mm-hmm. And I was fighting the urge to say it would have been a manimal difference, but yeah.
Why am I the only not as good as?
Why am I the only one that fights? I appreciate your dad jokes, William.
Thank you. Thank you.
Shut up, Louis.
Sometimes nobody really cares about Louis. But I feel like that my dad jokes. It's what like it keeps me on the show. You know, it's like we could get rid of him, but then we got like no dad jokes. So yeah, we're gonna keep him on the show.
All right. So, what are your closing thoughts, and what is your rating, Zach, of Jaws?
Oh well, it's a 10. I mean, this is one of the best movies I've ever seen. Like it's astonishing. And again, Spielberg finding his own voice. You get those long takes that he's known for. You get this like deliberate pacing. John Williams finally getting his sound out. I mean, it's groundbreaking. I feel like everyone has now found what their voice will be moving forward. I'm curious to see if that continues. I know the next one up is Close Encounters, and I know that's also fantastic.
But Spielberg also he started building his team already with Jaws.
Exactly.
The main editor on this film is not Michael Kahn, but it does become after this film. But he is actually the assistant editor, which is uncredited on Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
And he actually did the editing for a lot of the kind of shots on the island and all that. Those shots are weird editing on it, and it's very fascinating where you actually see him and Spielberg working together moving forward, because him and Spielberg worked together for 30, 40 years almost?
Yeah.
So it's fascinating seeing that and seeing him in this role already. My favorite scene of this film, 100%, is that vertigo shot.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The Jaws shot is.
Oh, when he's sitting on the beach or whatever. Yeah.
When he's sitting on the thing, and then all
and
the
it pulls
background
forward while widening out.
Like, yeah.
And if you had any doubt that this was very Hitchcockian of a film, your doubts are completely blown away by that moment. You're like, yes, Spielberg is playing homage.
I remember first time I saw this when I was like a kid in like middle school or whatever, and seeing that shot and then reading how they did it, and then just everything I shot with my friends, I'd make sure that it had like, and then it crashes in while it widens out. Like, ripping off that shot.
Dude, that shot is hard to do too. A vertigo shot is difficult to do. It's fascinating how they did it. And
I'll take your word for it, because I don't know anything about actually filming. I don't know anything about
So when you're doing that shot, you actually have to have the cameraman, when you're actually dolling forward while you're pulling focus backwards. So you're basically zooming out while you're moving in.
So you're moving the camera forward while zooming out?
Yeah, and it creates that effect.
Jesus.
But you have to do it in such a way that it has to be precise.
Yeah, the timing on both have to be the same.
Exactly. Yeah, the timing has to be just right. If not, it's going to look super weird.
And actually, that shot was done by accident by Hitchcock.
Oh, really?
He kind of stumbled on it on one of the films. I don't believe it was on Vertigo, but I think it was one of the films before Vertigo. He stumbled across it and never used it for that film.
It wasn't Psycho, right?
No, it was in Vertigo.
No, it was Vertigo? Okay.
That's why they call it the Vertigo shot.
Oh, is it? Okay, gotcha.
Because that's where it got trademarked and kind
of
it became a thing. But yeah, it was used throughout Vertigo 100%. Like half the film, the reason that film is so brilliant is because some of those shots it gets in your head. And that exact moment in Jaws, you get inside of the officer's head. And and from there on out, you
feel his fear.
Yeah. It's glorious. Yeah. And this is a 10 out of 10 for me, 100%. Coveted 10 out of 10.
Same. I give it the coveted 10 out of 10. This is, as I said multiple times, my favorite movie of all time. I think it's everything. It's a horror movie. It's a suspenseful movie. I think
but it's so heartfelt too.
It is. Yes. It is.
The bonding that happens with these characters as the film progresses.
Exactly. And also, like, it's just, man, it was the precursor to so many things, man. And it's just such a wonderfully shot movie. And John Williams scored, like, the iconic, like, you don't even have to like movies, and you know that like, tune. You'll know it.
Aside from that, like, his adventure score for the rest of it is so brilliant.
Yeah.
Like, even setting aside that, like, perfect theme, there's so much else. I was reading he was conducting the 76 Oscars when he won for Jaws. And so he had to, like, climb up out of the conductor's pit to collect his Oscar.
Yeah.
And that's crazy, because this is before also Star Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, the funny thing is, actually, when John Williams actually presented this score to Spielberg literally laughed him off. And then... Yeah,
he was like, Williams, so what are we going to put in the real movie?
Yeah. And then Williams put it in there, and he's like, he added it in and said, listen to it while watching, and he's like, holy shit.
Yo, Williams came at Spielberg with big dick energy. He's like, you're going to use my score. Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
All right, so...
I just imagine him walking in and just plopping his dick on the desk, be like, "Bam! I'm John Williams. We're doing this." And Spielberg
big
just
dick
energy.
Him.
And then afterwards, he comes back with a bigger dick.
So, William, what do you give the movie?
Oh, I give it a good 10 out of 10. I wouldn't say it's like one of my favorite movies, but give credit where credit is due. You know, early on, we're still talking early on Spielberg. It's a classic. It spawned, if we want to admit it, 3 sequels. If you don't want to admit it, 2 sequels.
Yo, the second one's not that bad. The rest are hot garbage, though.
No, the third one's not bad. It really is not that bad.
Though, with Dennis Quaid, I forget that he's on that movie. He's very young.
I like the sequels, even the shitty ones. I enjoy them.
It was in a time where we didn't, since it was the first summer blockbuster, we didn't know what to do with IP yet.
Yeah.
So, like, we're just cranking these out, and they progressively make no sense because the story does not.
It's just, it gets so fucking, like, out there that by the 4th one, they're like, yo, this shark literally wants to destroy your bloodline, basically. It's so fucking stupid. It's so dumb. Oh, man. Like I said, I like the second one, but nah. The rest are garbage. But yeah,
are we coming back? I was going to say, like, since we're doing Spielberg in chronological order, are we going to go over Jaws 2, Jaws 3, and Jaws 4 at some point? Or are we just kind of like...
You didn't do those.
Oh, he didn't?
No, he did all Indiana Joneses, and he did Jurassic Park 2, but that's the only franchise.
Here, I'll find out who did what. But yeah, so great podcasting on my part. Guys, say something.
Jaws 2 is Bennett Schwartz.
There you go. Thank you.
What are you bringing us next week, Zach?
Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Banger.
Get your mashed potatoes ready.
Banger. Damn it, every time you say that, I get the idea of, like, bangers and mash, and then when I get off the show, I want bangers and mash, but I don't have it. So now I've been wanting bangers and mash for like a month. Hate you, Branden.
Sorry. All right, so I guess that gives Jaws the coveted 40 out of 40.
Yeah.
I couldn't give it a higher score.
Perfect fucking score.
Perfect score from all 4 of us, and I think it is definitely deserved. It is an incredible movie, and again, I know it's a super old movie, but if you have not seen this movie, please,
do yourself
and you like film, do yourself a favor and go watch Jaws.
Yeah.
And if you're feeling good, go watch the 3 sequels, even though they're hot garbage.
No offense, but if you're into movies and you consider yourself a movie connoisseur and you have not seen Jaws yet, you do not have the right to call yourself a movie connoisseur. Sorry.
But honestly, so we're going to be doing, Zach is going to be reviewing Close Encounters of the Third Kind next week.
Yes.
Thank you, Zach.
Feel bad.
All right, guys. Stay tuned at this quick break when we come at you, not live, never live, with the final segment of our show, the individual reviews. So Dank, you're going second, and then I'm going third because it's my pick this week. All right. By the way, Luis, I was going to ask you, do I really have to shout out every show? It's getting to the point where there's too many shows.
No, just shout out the only ones that are active. What do you call it? Retro that we're coming back, which I'll do the spiel for.
Okay.
Just do Diversely Geek.
What I'm asking, isn't there like a way that we could just be like,
go to the website
and check out our shows instead of like saying every single fucking show?
Yeah, that's it. And just we're gonna do a shout out because we're starting season 2 of Cellar Door, and we just rebooted Retro, so it will be longer than usual. But just shout out the website. That way, everybody goes through the website.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because I was like, dude, like having to say every single show at the end sucks dick.
No.
Okay, all right. You guys ready?
Yes.
All right. 3, 2, 1. All right, guys, welcome back for the final segment of our show, the individual reviews. Luis is going to be going first this week.
Yes, I am. And I'm going to be actually reviewing a documentary that has an amazing cast of people. It stars Kevin Smith, Seth Green, Patton Oswalt, Ryan Johnson, Edgar Wright, John Landis, Gulager. I'm sorry.
Everybody in Hollywood.
Joe Dante, Richard Kelly, Tom Holland, Lloyd Kaufman, which is fucking glorious appearance. Stuart Gordon, Mark Romanek. It's fucking star-studded. And
Jesus Christ, the man can William Shatner us the list of people.
Yeah.
And this documentary is actually called Out of Print. It's a documentary about the importance of the revival cinema and 35 millimeter exhibition. Basically, it revolves around the New Beverly, which was a theater in California. And this theater decided to revamp itself in the 90s, I believe it was, or 80s, and basically rebranded itself from a porno theater into a revival theater, which is very much like the Gable Cinema, Branden, that it's all shows 35 millimeter prints of film.
An art house theater, basically.
Yes. But this actually shows, like, it goes into conversations about these directors and all that stuff and the importance of 35 millimeter films and why it's so important to see the film in its original, basically, form compared to the digital format that all theaters are playing now.
Yeah.
But the main reason I wanted to bring this film into play is, first of all, it's fascinating as fuck. All right, guys, so I wanted to get your opinions basically on what you guys think of the comparison between 35 millimeter and digital film.
You're asking me in particular?
Well, both of you.
I don't... Honestly, like, the reason I go to, like, the Gable Cinema to watch all these movies that I, like, talk about is I honestly don't know what's the difference in 35 or digital. Like, the thing is, like, it's cool to see something in its original format.
But you can't tell, like, the grain quality.
Oh, yeah. Like, old, like, 35 millimeter looks grainy.
But it also has that original texture to it in the film. Yeah. And it doesn't have that crispness. It doesn't have that perfection that you have with digital. It's not pixels that you're looking at. It's actual film. It's celluloid that you're looking at.
Yeah, for sure. No. Yeah, but it is cool. Like, my main thing is, like, I like going to see the film in its original form.
Yeah.
With all its imperfections, because some of these movies that I'm watching at the Gable Cinema are like 30, 40 years old. So
exactly. And that's the fascinating part, that you're seeing these films in its original form. But not only that, but you're really seeing it the way that the art is meant to be shown.
Yeah.
And that's with that graininess, that kind of grittiness to the film. And it adds such a different texture and style. And a lot of these directors, they wanted it to be presented in this format because of that, because it shows those imperfections and it masks a lot of things, but it also helps the film, I think.
Yeah.
William, what do you think on this?
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
What's your stance on this?
I think it depends on the movie. I mean, there are I understand why digital obviously has taken off better than has replaced 35 because it is more clear, especially like with cinematography, with like nature and of the sorts. It brings out the colors more. It looks more realistic. It kind of like brings the viewer more into the realism of the movie and what is going on, almost like they are there themselves, versus 35 millimeters, which, like you said, it's more of the old school brand. It's more of the like the home movies of old kind of look, to which when I think when you think like 16 millimeter, like my dad used to film on I want to say 35 millimeter camera, and if he could, he still would. Huh?
Probably Super 8. I doubt 35. 35, you would have been lugging around a 40-pound camera.
A 40-pound camera.
Well, I don't know. I'm gonna ask my dad because the camera he had was pretty big, but I'm sure it wasn't a 35 millimeter. But he had the old school that, like, when most of my friends were like, "You want to watch home movies?" of my family, they popped in a back in the day, a VHS tape. Yeah. Whereas if my friends came over and I'm like, "You want to see movies of my family?" I had to legit pull out a projector, and he would have to bring it to the store to get it done and put like on actual film, like you were at the old school movie theaters. I think that some movies can be more enjoyable or can have more advantage being on 35 millimeter than digital. Like, the original Star Wars versus the last Star Wars that came out. I think that if you put the last one on 35, it may lose a lot of, the clearness and the, maybe even the emotions would be more blurred because it's not able to keep up as much.
Well, put it into comparison. I don't know if either one of you have seen Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Not yet.
That was shot on 35.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. So was Dunkirk in recent years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 35 and 70 millimeter, but everything that Christopher Nolan does is all film. He doesn't do digital.
He's like, I'm too artsy fartsy for this digital shit.
Well, no, he's a big advocate for 70 millimeter and CinemaScope and all that stuff.
Yeah, so I saw Dunkirk in 70 millimeter.
Yeah, and that's actual film. That's not digital.
Yeah. That's cool though. Where is this? So this is like a documentary, you said?
Yes, it's a documentary streaming on Amazon Prime, and it's just fascinating seeing that all these directors, they used to go to the Cinematheque in California in Beverly Hills, and it was such a major part of their education in film history. Because what they did was they would actually do like double features, and they would do these double features that were presented by certain actors, directors, people in Hollywood that would actually come and basically curate these double features for them.
Gotcha.
So like Ryan Johnson had curated double features for them. What was another one that did? Joe Dante, the one that did Gremlins. He curated the double features as well. And I think it's just fascinating and so interesting seeing these guys, where they came from and how they came to be and how much of an influence this particular theater was for them. It's so fun.
That's cool. Awesome. So what do you give it?
I would give it probably... The documentary is interesting, but it has its flaws, and it's kind of like... It's paying a lot of like lip service to the people that were involved in it, which I didn't think it should. It could have also used with a little bit of animation to spruce up the documentary instead of just talking heads. So I would probably give it like a 6.5 out of 10. It's more a conversation starter.
Okay.
Than a fascinating documentary. It brings up good points, which is the reason why I wanted to bring it up in this episode.
Okay, cool. All right, so William, what do you got for us, bud?
I actually just watched a movie today. I was going to talk about Final Destination, but I'm going to save that for another time. By the way, Final Destination 1, 2, 3, and 4 are all on Netflix, if anyone's interested. The one that I'm going to talk about is on Amazon Prime, and it is Moulin Rouge.
Wait, why'd you say wait, Lewis?
I didn't say wait.
Oh, dude, what? I'm going crazy.
No, I think you said great.
Oh, okay. I was like, what? Okay, my bad. My apologies.
So I'm doing Moulin Rouge, which is a 2001 drama romance. Again, Academy Award winning movie as well.
I can't believe that.
What?
I can't believe that this won an Academy Award.
Don't you like that movie?
No, I fucking don't. I hate this movie.
Don't you own Moulin Rouge?
I do not. I detest this movie.
Why?
With a passion.
Well, I mean, it won for production, costume, and that's it.
Which the costumes, it doesn't deserve to win for that. I'm sorry. That does not deserve to win for costumes.
Are you serious, though? No. See, I will argue with you on that one. Because the costuming, even not the the members of Moulin Rouge costumes, but even just like the era costumes that are made for Ewan McGregor, for John Leguizamo, and everybody else that's in this movie, they are actually really well done. And then the extravagance of the Moulin Rouge personnel costumes, plus the musical within a musical kind of costume. I thought it was really good. I enjoyed it. It's like, at the time, it was a really great musical. I enjoyed it. It took me a while to come around to it.
It's one of those movies that I really never got into at all. It never.
I've seen it once, I think, for school. I think like in a music class they made me watch it. No, it was in a film class. I don't remember why. But I enjoyed it. I did definitely, from what I remember, I liked it. It was cool. I don't remember it much.
One of the aspects that I liked it more. Because at the time, for me, musicals was pretty much Phantom of the Opera. But it was the fact that they used music that I knew to make the movie. Like, it wasn't music that was written for the movie, for the musical movie. There's, Elton John, there's U2, there's Nirvana, there's Madonna, there's all these...
Yeah.
Huh?
There's Nirvana
music? Yeah, it's very short, but it's towards the beginning of the movie when the men are all entering Moulin Rouge, and they're singing the part of "Here We Are Now, Entertain Us."
Oh, from okay.
From Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Yeah. Okay.
So there's extra Nirvana. There's Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend. There's Like a Virgin, Roxanne. So the Police is also in there.
I remember the Roxanne part. Yeah.
Which to me, it made it more enjoyable at times. Like I said, I wasn't big on musical. I've definitely gotten a little bit more into musical. Actually, a lot more into musical since I moved to New York. And thanks, to my, my girlfriend is big into musicals. I've learned to enjoy them on a very different level as well. But at the time, the reason why I gave it the chance was because I'm like, oh, it's got music that I know. For me, it makes it go by faster. And Elephant Medley is just beautifully done. The fact that they have basically an entire conversation depicting falling in love with each other, and it's done all through not just one song, but a whole slew of different song lyrics, I thought was like an incredible talent to have. Whoever came up with that part, whoever the person in charge of music was incredibly good at his job. And then it obviously spawned a Broadway musical, which right now there's a revival of Moulin Rouge on Broadway as well. The cast is really good. The storyline where it's not the happy love ending that one would expect in a love musical, and that's all that I will say. But even now watching it, I went in thinking, I'm scared that if I go watch it now, I'm not going to enjoy it like I did back then. I should leave it just as. But I'm like, nope, let's find out. Let's see if it truly stands the test of times. Now, if it really still is in high regard as I used to back then, no, I've definitely seen a lot better musicals since then. But this kind of also revived kind of like the musical genre because it had died for a while. And this kind of like started it up a little bit again. So it's like, it's okay to do a musical movie. It's, people are going to enjoy it. Start bringing it back. And then, after this, we had, Chicago came to the big screen. And then years later, Mamma Mia, Phantom of the Opera. Cats doesn't count. I'm not even going to touch Cats with a 10-foot pole.
I put this up there with Cats. That's how bad.
No. Wow. Okay.
Like, you have no idea how much I hate this movie. This is the reason.
Why?
This is the reason I hate musicals. Because it's just so kitschy. It's so, like, it's so over the top. And it feels like this person that doesn't know anything about filmmaking just says, don't worry about it. We could worry about it in post-production. We'll just plug in some random imagery bullshit in the middle and just hope for the best. And then the performances fall flat. I feel like they're all performing on a green screen. Like even good actors like Nicole, what's her name?
Nicole Kidman.
Yeah. And they fall flat. And actresses that just, they normally do like stellar performances, do mediocre at best performances. And it's like, really? This is what I'm getting? And every song that they played was even more cringy than the next. And I felt so, I got so taken out of the movie from the beginning, from the first 5 minutes of the film till the very end. There's not a redeeming moment in the film where I'm like, oh, let me just enjoy this. I'm involved in this world. Not a single damn moment. Every moment it's so self-aware and it's so like, okay, I'm watching this. It just, you never get
if I would have known that. If I would have known that, I would have put this up against Secretariat last 2 weeks ago.
Like, I fucking hate this.
Damn it, the horse movie, or the movie I hate, or the movie I really hate.
I really don't like this. If this, I probably give like a 2 out of 10, honestly, opinion-wise.
I'm not gonna give it a rating. I liked it, but it's been so long that like I wouldn't. No, I'm not gonna give it a rating.
I gave it a 7.
Okay.
Right. Like I said, I went back. It was still enjoyable, but not as enjoyable as I used to. There are some parts that drag, but it's still a good, entertaining movie. And like I said, I enjoy watching musicals or movies with music that has music that I know. One of the reasons why to some degree, not, oh my God, I loved it, But to some degree, I enjoy the Mamma Mia's movies as well because I like ABBA. I like their music, and I like when people are able to put music to life. You know, it's like, okay, Dancing Queen. How can we put Dancing Queen to, you know, the song Dancing Queen in a movie so that it still kind of makes sense? Or Fernando, or, you know, and in this case also, you know, all these slew of songs that I knew about 50% of them back then. Now I knew more, and I was like pleasantly surprised, and I'm like, oh wait, I know this song now. I can enjoy this as well. So yeah.
Also,
I don't know. If you are intrigued, watch it.
Look at the Academy Awards. The nominees for art direction were Amelie, Gosford Park, Harry Potter, Sorcerer's Stone, and Fellowship of the Rings. I'm sorry, either Amelie, Gosford Park, or Lord of the Rings could have easily taken that out. 100%. There's no reason for that to have won. And then costume design, Gosford Park was in there. And Lord of the Rings were in there. I'm sorry, those are far superior films.
You're just mad because Lord of the Rings lost to a movie. That's what you're mad about.
No, it was honestly like just a bad movie, but
that makes sense that you're like grr about the movies. But all right. I mean, like I said, everybody has their opinion, and that's perfectly fine. Branden, what do you have for us?
Okay, so I'm going to be reviewing a TV show, something that I've been completely enamored with my girlfriend since we like just really randomly watched the first episode back in December when I was on a trip in Georgia. It was like we were staying at a friend's house. It was my dad, my brother, Carla, and myself, and we just put on this show by the name of The Goldbergs on Hulu.
Oh yes!
And ever since then, Carla and I have been completely fucking obsessed with this show.
Oh my god, this show is it's stupid, but it's so good.
So
it's like a guilty pleasure kind of good.
I actually think the show's really good, like really, really good. So The Goldbergs is a sitcom that is still currently airing on ABC. It's in its 7th season. About a family.
So I don't spoil anything for you. How far have you gotten with it?
I'm in the 4th season. Just don't say anything. It's fine. It's but yeah, so it's currently airing on ABC. It's in its 7th season, and it's basically about a family in the 80s. The Goldbergs. It's Murray, the dad, Beverly, the mom, Erica, the oldest sister, fucking Barry, and then Adam, who's the youngest, who's also the main character of the show. And the show is based on an actual guy, Adam, Adam F. Goldberg. And basically it's about his life. Dude, he shows home video and they literally recreated like shot for shot from his home video. It is insane. To give you an example, there's one of the episodes the craze in the 80s when Double Dare was a thing on Nickelodeon. I love
that show so much.
And they brought it to his hometown, and there's this guy and this lady, and they're basically the representatives for Double Dare to pick the kids to go to the show, right? Turns out that lady and that guy were the actual people that won in his school when he was a kid.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's super cool. The show is really heartfelt. It has like really nice messages, you know, like a show like Boy Meets World and stuff like that. My one thing is that every episode kind of feels like it kind of feels very cookie cutter, like it's the same thing over and over, in the sense of like beginning of episode, 2 characters have an issue, and then they kind of resolve it by the end, and it's kind of the same shit like over and over.
Boy Meets World is the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's my one gripe with the show. But honestly, for somebody, I have I wasn't born in the 80s, but I have like a love for the 80s. It's kind of like a time that I wish I grew up in. It seems like a really cool time to be like a kid or a teenager. It is. And honestly, the Goldbergs is awesome. Like seeing this really dysfunctional yet loving family grow up is really cool. And the show makes no sense. Like the time, he never says a year. He always he's like, it's April something. It's April 7th, 1980 something. He never says a year. But honestly, really cool. It's a really fun, lighthearted show, and I really like the cast, and the characters are very likable. And honestly, if you like Boy Meets World or any sitcom, by the way, this sitcom has no laugh track.
Oh, that's good. Nice. I like that. Because fuck that. Fuck laugh tracks.
I don't like laugh tracks. And honestly, awesome show. I really, really like it. If you like Boy Meets World or anything in that kind of light, I think you'd like the Goldbergs. It's streaming on Hulu, and it's currently in its 7th season. I think they're like halfway through it. But literally, I watch at least 1 to 2 episodes every day. We watch it for dinner. That's like our thing. Awesome show. I really, really like it. And maybe it would resonate more with you, Lewis, since you kind of grew up in that time period.
Yeah, maybe, I guess. Maybe. I haven't watched it at all, so I want to give it a shot.
Yeah, it's really, really fun.
I've heard good things about it before.
Yeah, I'd heard about it, and then like I'd heard good things about it too, and then we were just bored, and I was like, why don't we watch the first episode of the show? And we put it on, and like we were cracking up, and we decided to just keep watching the show, and here we are, almost catching up. We're like 3 seasons from catching up. So,
have they shown the uncle already?
Yes, yeah. Every time I see him, I think of you. the uncle is played by I'm sorry, what's his name again, William?
Dan Fogler.
Dan Fogler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He comes every season. He comes for the Thanksgiving episode because he's Murray, their dad's brother, but they have like a really dysfunctional, weird relationship. And awesome show. Like honestly, definitely check it out on Hulu. It's a really, really fun time. It's the first time in a while that I watch a sitcom and I actually like very much enjoy it. It's much better than the shit that like most people watch, like Big Bang Theory and all. God, that show is fucking atrocious, dude.
I hate that show.
That show is literally, dude. Do yourself a favor, listeners, and you too. Search up on YouTube. I might have brought this up on the show before. Go on YouTube and search up Big Bang Theory without the laugh track.
It's probably cringy as hell.
It is fucking horrible, dude. Please do yourself a favor and watch those videos or video. It's dude, without the laugh track, it's really weird. Oh my god, it's so weird. But yeah,
I don't know. I've never gotten into that show. I've watched it a couple times and I'm like, it doesn't catch my attention at all. So
yeah, I would give the Goldbergs an 8.59. Like I really, really much enjoy it. Maybe that's just me personally. Maybe like it won't resonate with you, Lewis, or some of the listeners. But I personally really, really much enjoy it.
I'll add it to the
list.
Know
who the executive producer of that show is, right?
Yeah, him. Adam F. Goldberg.
No, but like who the distributor for that show is?
No. Who is it?
Adam Sandler.
Oh yeah, it's the Happy.
Happy Gilmore.
Yeah, it's the one with the Happy Madison.
Happy Madison production.
Yeah, Happy Madison Productions. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so honestly, go check that out. It's on Hulu. I hope you enjoy it very much because I do. So yeah, guys. So before we end the show, my 2 picks that will be decided by the lovely listeners is going to be. They're both streaming on Netflix, and we're going to be going between Blue Ruin, and Spring Breakers.
Spring Breakers.
No.
They're both great movies, in my opinion.
Spring Breakers.
So yeah, Blue Ruin and Spring Breakers. They're both
Breakers forever.
Spring Breakers for life. Spring Break for life. Yeah, they're both streaming on Netflix. So listeners, make the right decision, whatever decision you want. They're both
Spring Breakers.
Have you seen Blue Ruin, Lewis?
Oh, I've seen both of them. I fucking
Blue
love
Ruin
them.
is an incredible movie. Awesome. So, Lewis, I know you wanted to do your little spiel for something that you brought back from the dead.
Yes. So Manbite Retro has been kind of in a limbo stage for the last 6 months, and we are finally coming back, but it's kind of like a reformatting of the show. We're kind of rebranding it a little bit, and Naomi, the person that's in charge of our marketing and social media, is actually joining me as a regular host / co-host of the show, and it's going to be the two of us doing a deep film analysis. So she has a background in film as well, and we really go deep into not only the cinematography, but we talk about the breaking of the films and all that stuff, and really what I wanted to do with Retro originally, and I'm finally able to do it with somebody on a regular basis. So yeah, we're doing that now. Every Wednesday we're going to be dropping the show like we used to, and of course Cellar Door is actually dropping this week as well. So if you want to check out the second season, we are going to be dropping bi-weekly on Saturdays as of right now.
Cool. Awesome. And of course, if you enjoy any of our content, check out our other shows, which I'm not going to list anymore. You need to go to manbitesfilm.com. And if you go there, you're going to see all our beautiful and lovely shows.
Yes.
Because you should definitely be listening to them also. And of course, also our sister site, diversitygeek.org, and our brother from another mother, John, over at YouTube at Narcotic Casserole. Thank you, William.
You are very welcome. Thank you, as always.
Thank you, Lewis.
Thank you, Brandon.
I am Brandon, and we'll see you guys on the next episode of Manbitesfilm. Cue the drums.